Okay, so today I'm going to share screen with you guys your topics. Okay, this is chapter three. Sorry, chapter nine. This is lesson three summary. Okay, if you look at lesson three, it's going to focus basically on the decline of the union. All right, if we compare to union activity and unionizing, all right, remember we said unionizing is basically when a group of workers get together and they are forming this unity where they work together in order to achieve better working conditions, raises, better working hours. Basically, they're fighting for their rights as employees. Okay, and usually these we discussed that unions are not usually in the beginning they were not so usually permitted. We said that over the time, union activity had changed and progressed, and it is now actually very normal to join a union, even preferred. Okay, in lesson three, we're going to talk about how union activity is actually becoming less and less welcomed and even declining. Okay, it's a significant trend, as you guys see that in today's economy. Okay, there's a decline in union membership and influence. Okay, so the first thing we need to understand that nowadays unionizing is not the greatest, or maybe it's not the best choice that people go to. Okay, and these are some reasons. Okay, some of these reasons, there are many reasons, you need to know them. All right, number one, for why are unions not actually welcomed these days, or why is it a trend for joining a union is declining? Number one, because employers, okay, the people that you work for, the people that hire you, they are called the employers. Remember, as a worker, I'm an employee. Okay, so the employers are actually inserting a lot of their effort to keep unions out of their business. How are they doing that? In one way, they are actually hiring consultants, and this legal consultant, his or her job is to find strategies or different ways on how to fight union activity. Okay, so employees are really even hiring a person whose essential job is to find ways and legal ways, okay, to fight unions. All right, so this is one of the reasons why unionizing is not so trendy these days. Okay, another way, employers are actually trying to win over their employees. In what way? Instead of having the workers as someone that is opposing you or someone who's against you, employees now are actually being very smart. Okay, they're being very smart in the sense of okay, Daniel, thank you. I've let Minna in. And in what sense? Instead of having the workers treated merely as workers with little or a few rights, uh, employers are now very very smart. They're adding employees on the board of directors and they're making them a part of management. Okay, when you find workers like you and I, okay, simple people actually a part of management. They're actually making decisions and so on. This gives you a sense of responsibility, a sense of ownership. Okay, remember, at the end of the day, when you're unionizing, you're technically opposing management. Okay, you're fighting management for certain things. Okay, or to get what you want from management. If one of your kind is actually a manager or on the management team, you'll find yourself opposing. Who are you going to oppose? You're going to oppose one of your people. Okay, so again, it kind of declines the union idea. All right, when you see your own workers or people just like you and your own kind of employees are actually a part of management, it kind of drifts away or heads off the idea of forming a union. Okay, so employers are being very smart and very tactful in keeping their employees as part of the management or even placing them as board of directors. Okay, which is a big position of making decisions and making them feel that they are part of this decision making process. Okay, this is a way to head off or to basically cut the chase away any ideas of possibly forming a union. Okay, also they are blaming women and teenagers. Women and teenagers are less dedicated to showing loyalty to organized labor. Okay, usually men, now that women have entered increasingly in a big amount of numbers, in a large volume, now we have a lot of women part of the workforce, and also a lot of teenagers, okay, we see that they have become less devoted to unionizing. All right, so this is also a reason why union activity has declined, okay, because the workforce has increased with women and teenagers, and they have showed signs of becoming less loyal or less dedicated to joining organized labor or unionizing. Okay.
مش أنا مش فاهم الunionizing ديّة والmanagement مش فاهم ده main idea أصلًا.
The main idea here is that employers are trying to keep their workers on the decision making board. Okay, in the essential idea of forming a union is basically to oppose management. Okay, there's something that management is doing that you're against, whether it is that they're paying you little money, or they're giving you or they're making you work on in unsafe conditions.
But
What say that
what
again?
happens what happens in a union?
What happens in a union? Well, unions are formed to essentially, basically, gain rights. If you're unhappy about any aspect of your job, whether it's related to safety or working hours or wages or income that you're making, this is the union. Unions get together to voice their opinions, okay, and to basically
Okay.
demand rights from the employer. Okay, so
إمم.
if an actual worker, if I'm working with you and you see me as the board of director or on the board of directors, that would make you feel better, because again you would see that one of your people, an employee just like you, is actually placed in a position in upper management where decision making process takes place. It makes you feel better. Why? Because I will represent you, and this is the board of directors. I will make sure that my people, my employees, are going to get what they want. So is that I'm going to make you, Peter, feel that it's necessary to form a union, or it's unnecessary since Yasmin is already on the board of directors? She's going to get us what we want.
Yes, yes.
Yes, you get it? So this is the concept. Okay, so placing employees in the board of directors, or making them a part of management, okay, and giving them rewards even for being involved in these decisions. It wins the employee over. It does not, it gives you the sense that you don't need to form a union. It gives you a sense of comfort and a sense of trust between you and the management. You understand?
And teenagers and women form unions more often, or what about them?
You're talking about bullet number 3
Um, yes.
about women. This is the third reason that they're blaming. Okay, they are saying that there's a decline in union activity or in joining unions these days. Remember, this is not back then. We're talking about the trendy days, like nowadays
Yes,
that we're
yes.
living. Now that we see that more women are entering the workforce, okay, and a lot of teenagers as well are entering the workforce. These two groups or categories, women and teenagers, have showed signs to become of being less loyal to union activities. So they're less likely to join a union. So this is one of the reasons why we see that union activity is declining, because
So
there's an
this is a good
increase.
thing.
Can you
It's a
please
good
repeat
thing.
that?
Is this a good thing?
Well, it's we're not really looking at them as a positive or negative. We're just providing reasons to why union activity is declining. Why are people nowadays joining the union less? Before,
Oh,
we saw a large number of workers were very excited about unionizing. We saw many groups joining unions, and formation of unions was something that was escalating. Why is it nowadays declining? So we're just providing a list of reasons to why, explaining why. Okay, why is joining a union becoming less active? Okay,
okay.
so we're,
Okay.
we're blaming, one of the reasons why is because again the workforce is now increasing. Okay, we see a lot of women joining the workforce and a lot of teenagers. These two additions, or the addition of these two work groups in large volumes, have affected unionizing, because women and teenagers have proven, okay, I'm sure through statistics or studies, okay, that they are less loyal to joining unions. Okay, therefore unionizing has declined. Okay, The fourth reason here, many Americans are working two jobs. Okay, a lot of Americans actually they do work two jobs in order to make ends meet. One job is usually not enough with such pay. All right, not all the jobs, remember, are high paying jobs. All right, so again, this reason falls back to if you're working two jobs in order to make ends meet or to survive, okay, with your family or even alone, all right, this gives you less time. And if you have less time because you're occupied with working two jobs, then you basically do not have time to join or support a union because your time is consumed by working two separate jobs. Okay, so another reason why union activity has declined is because most Americans are really busy working two jobs in order to survive or to make ends meet. Okay, this provides them or consumes their time. Okay, they don't have enough time to actually get busy. All right, they don't have time to spend joining a union or even to support a union. Okay, so this is another reason. All right. The final reason is very important, and we need to understand it. We also said, remember when we discussed in our previous lesson, and we said that how come people get paid more than others? And we discussed a few theories, if you guys remember. And one of the theories that we discussed was as an employee, and I'm going to go for a job interview, and I'm going to negotiate my salary or my income or my wage. Okay, and it is stated that Yasmin is actually a part of a union. Okay, being a part of a union, the union can actually fight for me, okay, or argue on my behalf or strengthen my position in order for me to get a better salary or even more money than Peter, who is a non-union worker. Okay, so let's say that I am a union worker and Peter is a non-union worker. Who is most likely to get better wages or a higher income? I am, because unions, they act like a backbone or a support that could actually help you get or land better salaries. Okay, now why is this a negative? Okay, now we're talking about negatives. All right, why is that a bad thing? Usually we discussed that taxes is a cost of production. Okay, my income is a cost of production. All right, if I am getting paid a high salary, it's coming out of my employer's pocket. Okay, my salary is a cost of production because they pay me in order for me to give them my knowledge, my experience, my labor. Okay, I have to get something in return, which is money. Okay, these wages are a cost of production for my employer. Okay, because it's money coming out of their pocket. Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so the more expensive I am, okay, that means the higher money they pay me, or the more salary or the more income they give me, that is increasing the price for them, or they're paying more money out of their pocket. How is that reflected on the good or the product? Again, they raise the price of the product. Remember how we said advertising? We said that advertising is a cost of production. In order for me to advertise, okay, a certain product, okay, I have to reflect that price on the price of the product. The more I advertise and the costly, or okay, or more expensive my advertising budget is going to be, that is going to reflect back on the price of my good. Okay, and unfortunately the person that ends up suffering this is the consumer. Okay, so I advertise my product, okay, to make it known and very nationwide known. Then I pay money for this advertising as a production, as a producer. However, I do reflect back this price. I do reflect back that money on the price of the good. Here, the person that's paying for this is the consumer. All right, so this is one setback or negativity of that. Now, if I am a union worker, my salary is higher than a non-union worker. If my employer is paying me more money, okay, I'm costing them more. Unfortunately, they have to reflect that back on the price of the goods, on the price of the goods. Okay, so again, same as advertising. I pay a lot of money on advertising a certain product. I'm going to have to increase the price of that product. If I pay a lot of money to my employees, I'm going to have to reflect that back on the price of my product. Now, if you compare, let's say we have two producers. okay, that are selling similar goods. Okay, one producer is working with union wages, and one producer is working with, or he has employees that are non-union workers. Okay, you'll find that the product that is produced by non-union workers is going to be cheaper because again the producer is paying them less money. Now, a product that is produced by union workers is going to be more expensive because I am paying my union workers more money. As a consumer, you have a choice. Of course, you are going to go buy the less expensive product. Now, who is endangered here? Who's in a bad position? The producer who is hiring union workers. Okay, they're suffering losses because, again, as a substitute effect, you're going to go buy the less expensive product as a consumer, leaving your goods. Okay, the goods that are built or made by union workers is unsold. Okay, and this is hurting the business, and it has been proven that sometimes even plants and factories shut down completely. They go out of business for that reason. Okay, because again, competition drives the consumer to buy the less expensive products. Do you guys understand that? So this is also very important. Okay, people want to keep their jobs. Joining a union does give you a benefit of getting paid more money, but it does hurt a business. Okay, so a lot of business owners would rather hire a non-union worker and pay them less salary so they do not have to up the price of their product and therefore suffer losses and potentially go out of business. Is this part clear? Any questions about this part?
هو احنا هنحفظ البوينتس ولا نفهمها كلها؟
You just need to understand. You do not need to
اوكي.
memorize anything, Peter, Daniel. Sorry, you just understand them, and if you phrase them, you've done that on your term exam, and you did very well on the last one. It was just your
اوكي.
understanding, and this is what you just wrote. So you do not have to understand. I mean, sorry, you do have to understand, but you don't have to memorize. Okay. So
اوكي.
if you get what you're talking about, and you can just phrase it in a well written way that you comprehend what you're saying, that's fine. Okay, so these are the reasons why union activities has been declining, or we are not seeing many people joining unions. Okay, now ways to bring down union wages. Okay, so again, remember, paying more money for union workers is hurting. Okay, it's hurting the business. Okay, so what are two ways that management uses, or producers could possibly use, or owners or business owners could use to bring the wages down? Okay, let's say that Peter is a union worker. I want to hire him. However, I need to bring his wages down. Okay, number one, companies can actually claim bankruptcy. And bankruptcy is when a company says, I am losing money, I'm running out of cash, I do not have any more money. Okay, but a company has to prove, okay, that their fiscal problems or their money problems is actually related to the wages. Okay, a company has to prove that wages and benefits, okay, the wages and the benefits that the employees are receiving, that these union workers are receiving. Remember, you're not only getting your income, your hourly rate, you're also getting benefits. Some of these benefits are insurance benefits, some of these benefits are retirement benefits, pension benefits, bonuses, maybe time and a half for overtime, if you guys remember that. Okay, so all these benefits plus your wages could actually, a company could go into bankruptcy. The company has to prove legal documents to show that basically you, as a union worker, getting all these wages and getting all these benefits are actually, you're actually contributing significantly to my fiscal problems. That's why I am filing for bankruptcy. As a result, the federal bankruptcy courts will actually allow management to take action either by terminating union contracts. Hey guys, it's let them go. Okay, if paying that much money in wages and benefits, it's hurting your financial situation as a company. Okay, you are legally allowed to either terminate a union worker or negotiate lower wages. So I can have a talk with Peter, like, listen, Peter, I cannot pay you that much money anymore in income and benefits. We need to work it out. Instead of getting a 20% bonus, I'm going to give you 5%. If Peter agrees, that's all good and dandy. If he doesn't, we can just terminate Peter. Okay, that means fire him, let him go, and hire a non union worker. This process is called the give back. This process is called the give back. I'm going to highlight it here in yellow. If it's not, you need to understand it because it's one of those words that are considered vocab in the book. Okay, so you need to understand that this is what a give back is. A give back is when a wage or a benefit or a work rule is given up when renegotiating the contract. Peter has to give something up. Instead of getting paid $20 per hour, he needs to negotiate it to 16. Again, why are we having this negotiation? Because the company has provided legal documents to the federal bankruptcy courts showing that the company can no longer sustain the wages and the benefits that they're providing for Peter as a union worker. That union employing or work having an employee that is a union worker is creating fiscal problems or money problems for them. Therefore, they need to file bankruptcy. The courts usually are in the favor of the company in situations like that, because again, it's harming their business. Okay, it's affecting them, and they give the company a choice either to terminate this union contract or to renegotiate lower wages with them if it is permissible. Okay. Now, the second way to bring down union wages is a two-tier wage system. Okay, this is also one of your vocab words, and it's one way to answer the question: how do you bring down union wages? Okay, the first way is a give back, and this is the explanation for it. Close, we discussed it. The second way is a two-tier wage system, and this one is easy. Okay, a two-tier wage system is actually widespread. It's used all over. It's actually used in many places, many, and all over the world. Okay, and it's a system that basically says that we keep the high wages for the current workers. Hello, I already employed Peter. Peter's been working with me for 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, whatever. He's an old worker, so I'm going to keep the high wages for him. Okay, but if I go and hire Myrna, who's still a fresh employee, okay, I'm gonna give her the lower wages. Okay, so I'm gonna give higher wages for my current employees that have been proven that have been part of my institution for a period of time, and any new employees that I'm hiring newly, I'm not going to give them the same high wages. No, I'm going to decrease their wages. I'm going to give them lower wages. This is called the two-tier wage system. Okay, so keep the high wages for the current workers that have been with you or are part of your organization for a while. Okay, no time limits have been set here, so you don't have to mention that they've been in with the company for X amount of years. It doesn't matter. Okay, again, as long as they're already part of the institution, they're considered an old worker, okay, or a current employee. They get the higher wages. But anybody who's newly hired after that is going to get a decreased wage. Okay, not the same high numbers that we gave to the old employees. Okay, so this is a way to keep union wages down. Okay, a give back system or the two-tier wage system. Both are two separate ways to decrease or to keep union wages down. Okay, the next topic that the book discusses is women. All right, why are women paid less than men? And is it true? Yes, it is true. In most cases it is. It's been proven that women's income is has been only a fraction of men's income over a 50-year period. Okay, women are getting paid less than men, excuse me. And the contribution to these reasons, now this is a question that people have been trying to ask, or why. Okay, the big question here is why are women getting paid less than men? And here we have three differences or three reasons. The first reason is for human and capital differences, for gender and occupation differences, okay, and for discrimination purposes. Okay, so we have three reasons to ask or to answer why are women uh, getting paid less than men in the workforce. Okay. Number one, human capital difference. Your human capital is how much experience and education you have under your belt. Okay. It has been proven, okay, that women do not bring the same level of skill and experience as men in the labor market. Okay, it's just sadly that's the truth. Okay, why? Because women have a tendency to drop out of the labor force early, especially when they get pregnant or they are trying to raise a family, or if their husbands say, you know what, we need you to stay home. They have a tendency of doing that. Women are most likely to leave a job, therefore they leave the job early. Okay, not getting the enough experience and enough skill to make them excel or make them maybe notable for maybe a promotion or maybe even a raise. Okay, this is normal and it's the truth. Okay, this has been tested and it's between amongst us. If even if we do a little comparison between our parents, we'll see that many moms are stay-at-home moms for the sake of taking care of their children and their families and so on, which is very normal. Okay, women also have a tendency of having lower levels of education than men. Okay, in an organization you can see that a male figure is more likely to have a PhD or a master's degree, and a woman is only with a BA or a bachelor's. Okay, so it's more likely for men to excel in education